This is not clickbait. Hello, my name is Kadeem, and yes, I did have COVID-19. I don't have any more though. I promise. That's just finished having some water. So kind of went down the wrong pipe. But yes, I did. I had COVID-19. They're probably asking, how do you know? Did you get a test? I actually got the antibodies test. And the antibody test essentially shows, hey, if you had a particular virus, your body obviously makes antibodies so that, you're immune to that particular strain of that particular virus. So got the antibodies test and it came back positive. So you're probably asking, did you have any symptoms? Were you asymptomatic? I had slight symptoms, very slight. So I would like to say I'm someone who's very in tune with just my nature, my body, who I am. So, normally if I'm noticing myself, I'm at 100%, right? But I noticed that there was this time where I was not 100%. For like 2 weeks, I was like at 95%. Let me back up. So, my grandmother was diagnosed with COVID-19. And although she passed away, people are saying she passed away from COVID-19. I believe she passed away from grief. Because, like the morning that she got really sick and she got rushed to the hospital, the 2 days prior to that, she found out that actually 6 of her friends passed away. Not from COVID, but from different things. And then she also found out that someone she was really close with, that she grew up with, that she thought was doing pretty well, was actually very, very sick. So she found all this out over the course of 2 days, 48 hours. So can you imagine hearing that 6 of your friends died over the course of 2 days, and then a 7th friend who you grew up with was really, really sick and you didn't know? How would you feel after that? So she heard that over the course of 2 days. I was Wednesday, Thursday evening, she heard about that 7th friend who wasn't doing very well. Then that Friday morning, she got really sick. Went to the hospital, found out she had COVID-19. I believe, it's my personal belief, is that she already had the virus, but was asymptomatic. But with grief causes stress, and stress causes the immune system to break down. When the immune system breaks down, the body can't fight off disease and virus and bacteria. So I believe that her immune system was already fighting it off. But the grief of her 7 friends, all of a sudden, that triggered the COVID-19 to really affect her. I will say, fortunately, a lot of people, fortunately for her, for my grandmother, I know a lot of people, once they get diagnosed and it's really, really bad, they go to the hospital, they don't come out. But my grandmother, she was able to go to the hospital. She was there for about maybe 3-4 days, I think. Then was able to come back home for a day and a half before she went back to the hospital. She was able to come back home, which is a major blessing, right? So she came back home for the day and a half. And when she woke up, because I was there, she woke up one time right before she went back to the hospital for the last time. And she was literally gasping for air. Gasping. Could hardly talk. Right? So here I am in this state right now. The first thing I'm not thinking about is, let me get my mask on, let me get on my gloves to make sure, I touch her. That was the farthest thing from my mind. The first thing I wanted to do was make sure she was okay and that she was comforted and that she felt a sense of peace. So I was there rubbing her back, making her feel better, talking to her. She didn't have on a mask. I didn't have on a mask. I didn't have any gloves. Because my intention was to make sure that she was okay. That was my intention. To make sure that she was fine. And that this person that I love, who is literally suffering in this moment, I wanted to make sure that she felt a sense of comfort. So, that happened, went to the hospital. About a few days later, she passed away in the hospital. Then, it was probably about 2 days or 3 days after that, where I was like, I don't feel 100% anymore. And it wasn't like an emotional reaction, you know, because people might say, oh, you know, maybe it was my grief, right? But I didn't necessarily feel, when my grandmother passed away, I didn't necessarily feel grief. To be honest, I didn't. I felt a sense of peace for her. I felt a sense of happiness, and I felt a sense of relief for her because I know that she was suffering. And again, I know just in my studies that the body dies, but the soul lives on. So that was where I was coming from. So I didn't really feel a sense of grief. Yes, I'm, miss her definitely, but I didn't have crying spells. That just wasn't where I was at. So I noticed that I wasn't 100% about a few days after in terms of just physicality. And I was like, this feels interesting, right? And again, for me, someone who I know is very in tune, I was like, something's happening right now. What is this? So I said, okay, well, I know. Not feeling 100%. I was like at 95%. Wasn't 100%, I was 95%. So okay, I feel a bit, awkward, but let me do what I know I need to do to make myself feel better, right? So did my aromatherapy cleanses, did my energy healing, did my meditations, did my own personal hypnotherapy on myself, make myself feel better. But again, I noticed, I was like, still, at 95%. Again, the very slight minimal energy shift, 95%, it was slight, but I still noticed it. So, again, day to day, did my stuff. Again, aromatherapy, meditation, because of course meditation has a lot of amazing therapeutic, scientific, things. It's proven. You meditate, it really helps to boost the immune system. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that science right now. You can research that on your own if you want to. Did all that stuff. But again, I was like, 95%. Something's happening. So I was at that moment, 95%. But then, because I like to have myself some vino every so often, some vino, some wine, I had a cup of wine one day. I took a sip, and my energy level dropped from 95% after that one sip to 50%. And I was like, oh, this does not feel right. And I was like, maybe I'm dehydrated. And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, there's something's happening with this 95% thing. It might be part of that. I waited a few days, had another sip of wine. I was like, let me try this again. Put the cup in the fridge. I said, okay, let me try this again in a few days. Tried it again. Same thing. Took a sip. Dropped 50%, 95%, 50%. I was like, this is weird. So I knew at that moment that I had COVID-19. I just knew it. Because, again, I felt this shift in my body, this physical shift that felt a bit unusual, number one. Number two, not only did I feel the shift, but I almost felt an energetic seed of fear. And I was like, this does not feel like me. I am not someone who is usually in fear. So to feel that, I was like, there's something here. And of course, the virus, the pandemic, of course, people are very fearful of it. So this virus definitely has a seed of fear attached to it. So I say all that to say, I knew within myself at that moment I was infected with the virus. So I made sure I did my 2 weeks of quarantine, make sure I was okay. Then I found out I was able to get the antibodies test, took that test, come to find out, yes, I tested positive for having the antibodies for COVID-19, which means I did have it. So, what does that mean? What am I making this video to say to all of you? Take the necessary steps to take care of yourself. And when you notice that there is a slight shift of you being off, take the steps to take care of your body, your mind, your emotions, to make sure that you are well. Because if I kept drinking that wine, I was like, oh, I'll be okay. Or if I didn't take necessary steps to, whatever, do my cleanses, aromatherapy, my holistic wellness stuff, my energy healing, my meditation, I maybe would have gotten really sick. But because I knew within myself, I know something felt off, I took necessary steps to make sure that I was able to boost myself to feel better. I think I was able to overcome the strong symptoms of COVID-19 and become in a better place, and a stronger place, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's it. That's the message. Tune into yourself. You know yourself. You know yourself. The question is, are you in tune with yourself? I think during this time, we need to take those moments to be in tune with ourselves and notice the small shifts, so that we, in tune, can make large shifts and changes in our lives in the most positive, most amazing ways. That's all. That's my story. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing, wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous day wherever you are, night, afternoon, whatever. Thanks so much. This is Kadeem telling my story about how I had COVID-19. Have a good day. Bye-bye.